So you're in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and every Houston faithful just knows that you're going to commit there. No question once they send that offer, and you go off to Iowa State. Take me through that process.
The process, it was kind of stressful just because, I mean, everybody wanted me to go to Houston. You know, it's just a closer home thing, and you know, you don't really know what's going on out in Iowa. I don't think anybody really does. But yeah, so I mean, it was a tough decision. I mean, there was a lot of other schools in the mix. But I just made it a choice based off like my heart and like what I really wanted to do.
And you make that decision. Like you said, you didn't know much about Iowa. What was the moment on campus where you realized, okay, I made the right decision. There's no money to worry?
I would say day one when I got there. Like, I mean, my visit was incredible, and when I got there, the class that I came in with, all those guys, you know, we was like a big family. We still keep in contact like a family, and I don't know, I just got there and it felt like home.
When people talk about Coach Campbell, they don't just mention the football aspects. They mention the fact that he was really a family member in a way. What did he do to make everybody so welcome, so comfortable?
I would say that's just the person he is. Like I mean, I talked to a lot of guys and their coaches, I guess, big time them or whatnot. Like, sure. I know there's some dudes that there 4 years didn't talk to their coach, but like Coach Campbell, he's gonna talk to everybody every day. And he's gonna talk to you not about football, just about life and how everything's going. And I think that's just what's so incredible about the whole coaching staff over there. I mean, they're all best friends and they take family vacations together, and I think what they have trickles down to the team, and you know, that's why I feel like the team is so close.
You might not have known at the time, but you moved to grow up with some future Kentucky basketball stars.
Okay.
That sense of competition, how did that fuel you throughout your own football career?
I mean, me and my brothers, my younger brother, my older brothers, we competed in everything 24/7. Video game battles in that house, legendary. A couple broken controllers in there.
Of course.
But I mean, definitely, I mean, the competitive nature that like we just grew up with, like it started off with just me and my younger brother, and then we took that and moved to Texas, and Khalil, Aaron, and Andrew, you know, the camaraderie we have it's incredible, and it pushes us to get better every day, and just we're trying to push each other to be our best. Yeah.
From not an overwhelming number of offers to setting Iowa State records, how does that feel?
I mean, it feels good. Like, I mean, I know who I am as a person. I know exactly what I'm capable of, and other people, you know, scouts or whatever, you know, you want to call them, analysts or whatnot.
So-called experts.
They have their take, and I feel like the problem is they try and have this cookie cutter like idea of what like the perfect player is supposed to look like, but they come in all shapes and sizes, and dudes break that every year. And I mean, I made it my mission to prove everybody wrong, and I wasn't really focused on that. I was more focused on proving to people that believed in me right.
You knew you were destined for great things. You knew you'd get drafted and make it to this level. But what was the moment, the play, the game, the practice where you realized, okay, this draft is going to happen, and now the world's going to see what I've known for a while?
I would say, I mean, I came out as redshirt junior. My redshirt freshman year, I would say my first catch, caught it one hand, corner end zone. I was on Sports Center. I was like, I think I could do this football thing for a little minute. Like, I think I'm going to try it.
You came in and you and Coach had a conversation not a lot of guys have. Most coaches want to keep their guys for as long as possible. He made sure you understood you're out of here in 3 years. Yeah. What was it like hearing those words, and now you look back seeing he was right?
You know, it's incredible just to see how everything, you know, happen and unfolds. I'm excited about everything that happened, and I'm just looking forward to my future.
You look at your game on the field, what are you most proud of developing in your arsenal of skills from day one to now?
I would say just everything. I mean, coming in, I only played like 13 games of football in high school, and that's like all I had at receiver, like for my life, really. And so for me to get any offers, that was crazy. And then I got to college, and they taught me how to be like a real receiver. And I would say just just learning what I'm good at and playing big, because a lot of things with big receivers, they get coached to play small and not be who they are, like who God made them to be. And God made me 6'6" and a freak, so I have to play like it and act like it. And Coach Gasser and Coach Mouse at Iowa State, they definitely helped me open it up and become that.
And you got some help from one of the best bigger receivers of all time. What was it like to pick the brain of Calvin Johnson?
Oh, that was incredible. I mean, it was.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah. You see, it's wild.
That's
like
wild.
When it first happened, I was just like, yeah, we're gonna see how this Calvin Johnson thing goes. And he's just such a humble human being, and he just was just so open and giving me knowledge and just texting me and just talking to me. Like it was just incredible to me. Just young kid growing up. I've always seen him as like just a superhero, I guess, for like how he played on the field. And now I'm at that level and people view me the same way. So it's like now it's man to man. It's like we're the same person. We do the same thing. He's the same person as me.
Bigger receivers kind of get a knock against them in a way because a lot of people think you're big, you're tall, you can jump, it's easy, but people don't really know the intricacies of the footwork.
Mm-hmm.
You got longer legs, you
Yeah.
got bigger feet. So how did you get over those hurdles, especially with only 13 games under your belt before getting to the college level?
Well, I mean, for me, I would say, big receivers, they get a lot of knocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always tell people, I never knew it was a problem to be a mismatch.
Yeah.
But like,
I love that. I love that.
I never knew that was a problem, but some people see it as a problem. And, I think you just have to find what you're good at, because some big receivers, like I'm more shifty and flexible than a lot of people. And I can bend. And so the footwork thing, I just had to catch up with that. And right now with the Cardinals, Coach Rye, Coach Ryan, Coach Sully, they're pushing me hard to like start to work that footwork and just become a better route runner. And they tell me I can be great, so we're gonna see what happens.
You're gonna be getting ready for your game on Saturday night, getting ready to play Sunday, but you're gonna turn on the TV and see Iowa State out there balling without you. What are you gonna miss most?
That's gonna hurt the first time for sure, because Iowa State for a while, that's all you know. When you're in that in-between range, like year 2, year 3, you're like I'm never gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
And it's like a negative and a positive at the same time, because those people in that locker room, those are my brothers. They call me all the time, random times of the day, and we just talk about nothing. And it's like, I'm gonna miss that most with those dudes. Like, our locker room is unmatched. We just got so much energy and just the family atmosphere in there. I feel like a lot of teams don't have that.
And the offense didn't just lose you, they also lose David Montgomery, running back. We got a record-setting running back leaving, a record-setting receiver leaving. Whose name is gonna come out of the dirt and we're gonna know them as an Iowa State Cyclone in the future?
Oof. There's so many people. They got the freshman, Brock Purdy at quarterback. He's incredible. At receiver, they got so many people: Tariq Milton, Jalen Martin, Landon Akers. It's so many people. I feel like now, instead of it just being one guy, it'll be by committee, and I think that'll be better because it'll make them harder to guard. Instead of just trying to shut down one side of the field, you can't shut down the whole field. Nobody's defense is prepared to guard all our receivers. We got an elite room, and with the running backs, we got one of the fastest kids in the nation, Kane. Yeah. We got this kid, Johnny. He's incredible. We just got so many people, and my boy Sheldon, he's a killer. Like, from day one, he was the first person that friended me at Iowa State, and we just been kicking it ever since. And on defense, the defense is solid, like all around. 2 young corners, Speedy and forget the other kid, man. He's a freshman. I forget his name, but he balled out as a freshman, and just that back half. Everything about it, like, we're going to be a solid team. We're going to be a team that everybody needs to look out for.
Coach Campbell's more than a coach. He's really an extension of your family, and he makes sure his players in his locker room understand that. How did he change you the most off the field?
Made me more accountable, because there was a coaching change while I was there, from my freshman year to my sophomore year. He came in and he just told me, like, I had to just change the way I was living if I wanted to be anything with life. And I had to make those steps, like, off the field, like, in the classroom, to do that. And he got us sitting in the front row of classes, showing up 10, 20 minutes early to everything. I mean, it just, that little stuff matters, and I see it paying off now. I mean, it's incredible.
You only have 13 games under your belt. Then you come in as a freshman, your head's still spinning, you're still learning. And now you get another speed bump in your way,
Yeah.
a coaching change, while you're still learning to be a receiver.
Yeah.
How do you manage all of that?
You just, I mean, it's like with life. You just take it in stride. Everything you take in stride. It was tough, but at the same time, I mean, I was excited for it. I'm always excited for new beginnings. I mean, you never know what it brings. And they came in and they brought new energy, new life, and we struggled that first year, but we saw something in ourselves that a lot of people on the outside don't see when they see the score, because we saw ourselves competing, which was something I felt like we didn't do my freshman year. We weren't competing. We were just out there just on the field.
Yeah.
But we were competing and we were fighting, and everybody on the outside saw it as like, oh, like 3-9, but on the inside we saw it as like, oh, like something's about to happen.
Yeah.
And we made that shift, we made that turn, and I don't think we're gonna look back.
And about that shift and that turn, a lot of guys in their position, a lot of rookies are going to turn on that game watching their former team on Saturday as they're sitting in the hotel getting ready to play on a Sunday, but very few get to look at a team and say, I helped build that, I turned this program around, and now we're playing nationally televised games because of the effort I put in. How's that going to feel?
I mean, like I said, like not being on that field, it's gonna hurt for sure. Like, I've never really even like watched an Iowa State game, like let's just like film.
Yeah.
But like to just sit there and just see, I'm be super excited for those guys. They get that opportunity. They get to go out there, prove themselves, so they can be in EC soon.
We talked about how Calvin influenced your game and how we hope that's gonna continue going forward, but how did that originally start?
Well, my agent was teammates and really good friends with Calvin, and they all came up together, and so he kind of got it connected. He said he saw me and he immediately saw Calvin, and I was like you can't just put me on that level, man.
That's high praise.
You don't know me like that, yeah. But like that's what he said, and then Calvin was like I see you, like I see me and you, and I was like, man, like this is just, it's incredible. But the connection with my agent, and you know, it was just crazy for all that to even come to fruition.
What advice would you have, maybe football, maybe basketball, maybe it's a baseball player, someone who may not have a lot of experience under their belt, but has the talent to keep pursuing it on the next level?
My thing is, with a lot of kids nowadays, it's kind of hard to be open-minded and willing to get that slow burn, I like to say, or coach people like to say, you know, you got to take time. I feel like there's a new thing with like instant gratification in like coming up generations.
Yeah.
But you got to be patient. Like, I could have transferred after my freshman year, didn't play, like they redshirted me. Could have transferred after my sophomore year, I didn't get the play that I wanted to, but I used all of that and came back and had an incredible spring, and I basically forced the coaches to play me and put me in the game, and so I basically played more snaps than some starters from the slot position. I never played slot in my life, but I forced them to play me there because I just worked so hard. So you got to be open-minded and willing to work, and I would say that's the main thing, just willing to work and open-minded. Instant gratification, that's not real. It's the slow burn.
Kill Harry. So we went from Toronto down to St. Vincent, out to Arizona, to the world traveler. What did you learn about yourself living in so many places at a young age?
You know, for me, I learned that I adapt very fast to any environment I'm in. That'd probably be the biggest thing. And, you know, having to adapt, learning to adapt, especially when I first came to the United States, I had an accent. And, you know, kids, if you're different, you know, you get made fun of a lot. So, you know, I had to kind of adapt, change my accent, but it really wasn't hard to do. You know, especially coming young, you know, it kind of comes natural. So that's the biggest thing, just to adapt it to my environment.
And being kind of an outlier with so much history at a young age, what was it about ASU that made you feel so comfortable?
I feel like just the loyalty they showed to me. You know, they were the first school to ever look at me, to ever talk to me my freshman year when nobody else came and put the time in to do that. Not even U of A would do that. So, you know, it went a long way for me. And I also just really wanted my grandmother to be able to see me play before I ended up like I did across the whole country in New England.
And that connection with your grandmother, with your family, I mean, going through so much together, it seems like she's always with you on the field, back home, wherever you're at, she's right there with you.
Yeah, she definitely has always looked out for me. You know, I know that woman will give her life for mine, and I would do the same for her. So, you know, she's been a great example for me, and she's the only reason I'm where I am today.
You snagged a reception, at least one, in every single game that you played. The greatest receivers of all time. Can't even say that often. I mean, what's it feel like to know you left your mark on ASU and the NCAA as a whole?
You know, it's great just knowing that I went in there and I accomplished a lot of the goals I set out to accomplish. There was still a lot left on the table as far as not winning the Pac-12 championship, not going to the Rose Bowl, things like that, things that honestly kind of haunt me a little bit. But, you know, just being able to leave my mark and being able to give the fans a show and give them their money's worth was something that I really enjoyed throughout the years.
What was life off the field, in the classroom, and really just around Tempe?
You know, Tempe was great. You know, just the people around Tempe is what made the experience so great. Not only the fans, but also my coaches, my teammates. You know, it was a real family. And, you know, that's what really made the experience special.
And Herm Edwards came in there at the back end of your college career. What were the changes that took place? Because he has NFL experience.
Yeah, really, he just kind of put in a true pro model of how a program should be run. You know, Coach Graham did an exceptional job as well, but Herm turned it into more of a pro program instead of a college program. And, you know, I feel like that helped me grow a lot throughout my last year or so. You know, I was really blessed to be able to put in that position.
And implementing a professional mindset into the X's and O's is one thing, but how did he prepare you off the field for taking this next step into the real world, really?
He would just always keep it real, you know, always tell us what was out there. You know, frequently he would let us know when we leave the building, make sure we're aware of everything that's going on out there. You know, there's so many distractions, and you see it every year. There's somebody, whether it's in the NFL or the NCAA, that goes out, does something stupid, and, you know, kind of tarnishes their reputation. So that was the biggest thing. And, you know, also something I took away from him at the Under Armour All-American game, you know, he told all of us that we weren't just representing ourselves, but we were representing the names on the back of our jersey, which is something that my grandmother also stressed to me a lot growing up.
So you had an experience with Herm Edwards before you knew he was going to become the coach of ASU. What was that? What was that like when you got maybe a phone call or an email from the athletic director and you found out, oh, I've technically played for this guy before?
Yeah, you know, it was something I had to adjust to, because when Coach Graham got fired, it was a day after the U of A game, and, you know, Coach Graham and I were pretty close, so that was a bit hard for me at first. But when I found out it was Herm, it really did ease my mind, just because I knew the type of coach he was and I knew the type of person he was. Coach is the same man that you see on TV every day. That's the same person that walks into the building every day. I've never seen Herm get out of Herm's element. So being able to play for a man like that really does teach you a lot just by looking at him and following his example. So like I said earlier, it really was a blessing to be able to get coached by that man.
And now you're going into New England, a historic franchise, a storied franchise. Is there any level of intimidation as far as going in playing with maybe the best quarterback ever, probably the greatest coach ever? How do you manage being yourself and also, I'm a young guy again?
Yeah, you just have to kind of know your role. I'm going to be myself regardless of the situation I'm in. And, as a rookie, I can't go in there poking my chest out, not wanting to talk to anybody, acting like I'm the best. I have to earn my stripes. I have to prove myself all over again. And, it's not really an intimidation factor. It's really excitement. I've been working my whole life to get to this point. I've been doing this my whole life. So, it's more excitement more than anything.
Yeah. The story of the NFL will not be able to be told without the name Tom Brady, without the name Bill Belichick, probably without the name Josh McDaniels if this offense continues to succeed the way it does. What do you have to do to make sure your name is associated with those going forward?
Know my role and, really be a team player, put the team before myself and, be mentally prepared for not just every game, but every practice. Every time I walk into that building, I have to be mentally prepared to take the load that they're giving us every day.
Anything specific about being an Arizona State Sun Devil to where you can walk into that Patriot locker room with confidence?
Yeah, I feel like just all the programs they have for us. Throughout the years, they would frequently bring in speakers and just, like I said, just tell us everything we needed to hear, real world things that were going on and what to expect in the real world. College is like its own little bubble. And, once you get into that real world, it's a whole different ball game. So I feel like just the knowledge they gave us prepared us so much for where I'm at now and definitely prepared all the other student athletes going into real life.
It seems like they put so much effort at Arizona State to helping you develop off the field. 2-3 years from now, what do you hope to look back and say, I grew in this area, not football related?
Just as a person, that's not only the biggest goal for myself, but for my grandmother. That's what she prides herself on. She doesn't look at me as N'Keal Harry, the football player. She looks at me as N'Keal Harry, the person. So 2 to 3 years from now, my biggest goal is to just give back, do something positive with this platform I've been given. And, it's a big responsibility. And, I have a lot of young kids looking up to me. I have even a lot of adults looking up to me. So, I have to do something positive with that platform and, just make sure I'm doing everything in my power to do my due diligence and, to make a positive change in the world.
With all that effort that was put in off the field, any specific hobbies, any specific pursuits that you want to go after while you're continuing your career in the NFL?
Yeah, definitely. I love to work out. One of my best friends actually has his own gym, my boy Johnny. So going forward, during the off season, I want to, kind of not just train with him, have him train me, but kind of shadow him and watch what he does, because I feel like that's something I would really enjoy doing. And, one day open up a gym, have like a half performance, half physical therapy type place. So that's something I feel like I could really be passionate about and something I'd really enjoy to do.
Giving back is something that naturally came out of you during these questions. Is there anything specific that you really, really want to put your feet into?
Yeah, definitely, kids with disabilities, Special Olympics or whatever the case may be. While I was at Arizona State, I actually met a kid named Nash, and Nash really did change my life. He's the coolest kid, the most down-to-earth kid, and, when he first met me, he was pretty shy, but as I started to know him, he started to open up to me, and, Nash and I have a very special bond. So, whatever I can do to bring awareness to kids with disabilities and help them, that'd be something I really would enjoy doing.
The receiver that got a reception in every single game in that maroon and gold uniform is now gone. Who's going to step up?
I feel like there's a lot of guys that can step up. Frank Darby, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Williams. Those are all tremendous players. And obviously, the way the football game goes, you're not going to get the ball 10 to 12 times each game. So I feel like Coach Herm, Coach Likens will do a great job of spreading the ball around. And, I feel like they'll all eat. There's enough room for everybody to eat. There's enough room for multiple superstars. And on the defensive side, there's a lot of young talent. My boy Chase Lucas, Merlin Robinson, Darian Black. You know, it's so much talent on that team, and you know, I'm really looking forward to see what they do next season.
I don't think anybody's excited to be there, but you're kind of anxious to get out there and show what you can do. Early mornings, lots of x-rays, prodding and poking. You're raiding your room. You don't really have anywhere to go. You kind of just trying to make sure you stay loose, you stay calm and collected, and you're ready to perform when your day comes. You're kind of anxious to get out there and show what you can do.
from Ohio.
Yep.
And there is a pretty significant college program there in Ohio. So when they came knocking, what was that like?
It was a dream come true. You know, just growing up in Akron, just always watching Ohio State every Saturday, watching guys like Ted Ginn, Troy Smith, Terrell Pryor, everybody. It was really just a dream come true.
And when Urban Meyer gave you that offer, I think it took about 12 seconds before you committed. So you knew right away.
Yeah. So I was sitting in his office, me and my mom, and he said, we're going to offer you. And just in that moment, I was getting chills, man. Just because I had been on a couple of visits, and seen the place, got familiar with the coaching staff. So I was all in.
And a lot of people enjoy the recruiting process. Some guys even milk it a little bit. You weren't worried about any of the extra attention from other schools. You were in and you never backed out.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, it was always just kind of a dream of mine. And I mean, obviously, you got to go see the place, get familiar with the coaching staff, and just see how the whole culture of the program works. So from day one, once I got that, I was set. And honestly, it made it that much easier, going into senior season. You ain't gotta, have all the camera spotlight. Like, you can just focus on your season, with your teammates, and kind of go out and just have fun with it.
You grew up in Akron, so you were already familiar with Columbus, with Ohio State football. You went on plenty of visits. But what was it like that first day after signing that dotted line? Yeah. I am a Buckeye now.
Yeah. It was just, surreal at the moment. I was able to say, like you said, I am officially a Buckeye. But it was a little nerve-wracking as well, just because, you didn't necessarily know what you were stepping into. It was a whole new light, kind of, got to start from ground zero, just as, once you first get to high school. So, but it was more excitement than anything.
Urban Meyer is known for getting the best out of his guys. What was that practice atmosphere like? Because he ingratiates any kind of challenge, and it obviously pays off with so many guys moving on to the next level.
It was intense. From day one, since I stepped on the practice field, it was just really intense. And I could tell that, he liked to put his players in difficult situations on the practice field. So, when you get to games, it's just easy, it's second nature. But like you said, he poses a challenge each and every day you step on the field. He's going to be hard on you. He's going to say what you necessarily don't want to hear. He's going to see how you respond. And that's kind of what I like about his coaching style. He kind of just, says little stuff here and there. Maybe, as you're working your way up, to kind of earn that respect and make a name for yourself, he'll say, little things there. And you'll kind of think about it. And it's like, hold on, like, did he just say that? But, he just wants to see, how you respond. To see if you can go on the field, with that same thing he just said in your head and just be able to still make the play. So it puts you to the challenge, but it all pays off.
Any freshman that comes to a college campus after a lot of success in high school assumes that they're going to start day one and break every record and win a championship every year. But you had a lot of quality guys ahead of you, and as we see them all sprinkled throughout the NFL now, you had some quality guys to learn from. So what was that like? The frustration of, I'm not starting yet, but I can learn from these dudes because these dudes are good.
Yeah, it was a humbling experience. Like you said, you come from high school, and you're the man, you're the go-to guy every single play. And then you go to, a place like Ohio State, and you're a small fish in a big pond. For myself, it was humbling though, just because I kind of had to look myself in the mirror and say, okay, well, I got some work to do. I haven't arrived anywhere yet. I still got to put the work in it, to accomplish things that I want to accomplish. But just from the guys sitting in the room, the first guy that comes to my mind is Michael Thomas. Just to see what he's done on the next level, but also to see, the things that he done in practice and, how he kind of went about his day. I can sit here and tell you, like, he was a competitor. Like, at Ohio State, he's the elite competitor. He's kind of the go-to guy for every example of competing. And just to see how he worked and kind of how he went about his business was definitely something that I took note of.
You got to learn from Michael Thomas. Who is in that receiver room right now who got to learn from you that we can look out for next year? Yeah,
I think a guy that everyone needs to look out for is Chris Olave. For us last year, he's a true freshman. And he comes out the last three games of the season, which are our biggest games. It just kind of went off and kind of just made that name for himself. But it wasn't just only me. He got to learn from, Terry McLaurin, Johnny Dixon. But that he's a guy that, from day one, he didn't know it, but we could see it in him and just see the type of guy that he was, see that he had a mindset that was different from a lot of freshmen. He kind of just got in, didn't say a whole lot, just went to work and studied every night and knew his plays like that. So he's going to be a guy to look out for sure.
Say the quickest way on the field for an NFL player is through special teams. You got a lot of experience doing that and a lot of success doing that. What importance does Ohio State put on special teams? Because a lot of games historically has come down to a big special teams play.
Yeah. So if you go to Ohio State, the number one thing you learn is that you won't be playing offense or defense until you start on 2 special teams. And you come in and it's like, okay, well, I got to worry about learning the offense, and I also got to learn how to play special teams, and that's a whole nother light in itself. But the thing is, like, it's not easy to get on special teams at Ohio State because I mean, like I just said, that's the rule. You won't play offense or defense, so every guy in the room is trying to earn that spot on special teams. So it kind of, like I said, it's a whole new, like, you got to study it just the same way you're studying your offensive playbook, and it's just very serious because we know it's the difference between winning and losing.
You know a lot about Coach Day as he worked with you guys day in and day out, but what are the defensive guys going to learn about him now that he's a head coach?
Yeah, I think they're going to learn that he's a player's coach. First and foremost, he actually cares about his players, and he takes time, to sit down and actually kind of learn and just kind of pick your brain and just see what you're going through on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, you're not just another player walking down the hallway with him. And I think they're going to learn. I mean, if they already don't know, because we scheme him up in practice all the time. But he's really an offensive guru, man. He's a smart coach. And one thing that he does that I love is, he always pitches out nuggets and kind of, instill his smarts into his players. And that goes far long. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. That goes further longer than that. He sees the wideouts, offensive line, and it's just really cool.
Saturday nights are going to come around, and instead of putting your pads on, getting ready for that ABC primetime game, you're going to be studying your playbook, getting ready for your game Sunday. But when you turn on that game, what are you going to miss most?
Honestly, I get chills thinking about it right now, man. But just running out in the horseshoe, man, with my teammates, running onto the field, looking up and seeing 110,000 fans, man. I think that's an atmosphere that's second to none. And being an Ohio kid myself, man, we just take so much pride in the university, so much pride in the things that we do. So I would just miss I would say the family atmosphere and just running out into that tunnel every Saturday.
And speaking of that family atmosphere, Buckeyes, look out for Buckeyes. So what's it gonna feel like? You've been watching former Ohio State guys tear up the league as long as you've been a Buckeye. What's it gonna feel like to finally be one of them?
It's honestly, I think it's a humbling experience, and kind of just kind of the next face, from Ohio State in the NFL, man. And like I said, it just goes back to all the hard work that was put in, all the trials, the ups and downs, and everything that's been a part of kind of my career, man. It's just all paid off, and the real work starts now, but it's definitely just humbling.
The ups and downs, the roller coaster, your path to starting. What was the game, the practice, the moment in your senior year where you realized, I earned this, it's been a long road, but I think I can continue in the NFL?
Honestly, I would say that probably honestly the end of my senior season, just because so I had a decision to make after my junior season, but just going into that senior year, I was just focused on making myself better, being the best version of me that I could, and so that every time I step on the field, my teammates and my coaches, they know, when 21 steps on the field, we can trust them. So I was kind of just focused on that, man, and just bettering myself for the team. And as the season went on, we had our highs and lows, but we think that we ended on a high note. Big Ten champs, Rose Bowl champs. And kind of, just when it was all said and done, I was able to kind of take that breath after the Rose Bowl win. It kind of all just set in, like, my dream, that path to the NFL is here now. And I mean, it was nothing but excitement. But it was a little sadness too, because I had to, I was at Ohio State for 5 years, so I had to, kind of move on from my family, man. And but like I said, it was exciting.
5-year journey, and you earned every step of it. If you could go back and talk to Paris Campbell, the 18-year-old moving into his dorm, what advice would you give him?
I think that I would say, honestly, just early on, kind of being able to manage that time better. I think that's a problem that a lot of freshmen get into, you know, because you come in and you got football, you got workouts, you know, you got study tables, you got tutoring, all this class, and just being able to, you know, kind of just balance it all and really manage your time. Because if you go in with a set plan and a set routine, and I mean, obviously you have to develop that over time, but just trying to have, you know, time management skills and just get everything slotted, I think, you know, that early on it would have been a lot more smoother.
You're an Ohio guy, so you love Ohio State, which means you also know everybody else hates Ohio State. So what were those rivalry games like?
I mean, they were everything. And we knew that every time we stepped on the field, whether it was versus team up north, whether it was versus Penn State, we knew the intensity switch flipped.
Yeah.
And kind of just that week of practice, and even after the previous game, we knew it was kind of, you know, buckle your chin strap a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
And we prepared for those things, not just in the season but off season. You know, what our strength coaches put us through, and they try to, you know, always emulate the intensity of the game. And you know, it's never going to be exact, but they try to put you in hard situations, man. And we just know that seasons are riding on it, people's jobs are riding on it, and we really understand, you know, the importance.
Majority of high school, not too much attention, but 5 days before signing day, somebody gives you a phone call. Take me through that week.
It was a crazy week. I mean, I didn't think I was gonna sign with anyone. I didn't plan on signing with anyone. I didn't really have a plan of what I was gonna do. I had a couple offers, and I know I had run a good track time, and the kid that I was helping out on the track team, his dad coached at another school, so he got in contact with a couple coaches, and luckily for me, Coach Whipple called me and kind of answered my prayer. I remember I'll never forget, I was at gym that I worked out at, and it was the end of the workout, could barely even work out. And after I told me, he called me and he's like, yeah, this is Mark Whipple. Like, we're gonna offer you a scholarship. He's like, UMass is a good, and I'm like, I'll take the offer. And he's like, what? He's like, what? All I know was Division I. That's all I knew, and that's all I needed to hear.
That's all you need to know.
And then I just started doing a ton of pull-ups. I was barely.
You got
doing
some
like
energy
one.
after that.
Yeah, I got a ton of energy after that.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's crazy how things work, and I'm blessed to get to go there.
So you're in Ohio. I mean, Ohio puts out as much talent, not just college, NFL talent, as anybody. But what was it like in the freshman, sophomore, junior, and really almost all of your senior year, knowing, hey, I'm putting up numbers, I'm having success, I have the talent. I mean, that frustration, knowing that you were good enough.
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I mean, even my junior year, we went to one of those Spark combines, and I had like a 109 rating or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, you're about to get offers to every single school, everywhere. And then like slowly, like nothing was coming in at all, nothing. So it was disappointing. But I kept working a lot. I think a lot of people would quit when that happens. But luckily, I had a really good faith and resilience, and I think it made me the person I am today. Going through that, I don't think I would be sitting here if I didn't take the journey I did.
Sure. I mean, that adversity, that roller coaster, how did you take those lessons from high school, that frustration, turning it into success and turning it to energy or a chip on your shoulder once you made it to
It just basically just made me work as hard as I can and realize that if I want something, you don't have to work for it. No one's going to hand you anything. I mean, you're going to have to work for whatever you get. And I think all those lessons I learned and all those frustration that I had made me work as hard as I can and helped me get to this level.
There might have been a lot of doubt, not from you, but looking at you when you first got to UMass. Nobody really knows who the heck you are. 5 minutes before signing day, we're just handing this guy an offer. What was that moment? Maybe it was a practice, maybe it was a game where people realized, oh, I will never forget the name Andy Isabella now.
Yeah, even when I got to UMass, I was a running back, and I didn't switch until midway through my freshman year, or early in my freshman year. But definitely probably my sophomore year, the first game versus Florida, when I had like a big catch on the sidelines, and I ended up with like 3 catches for like 98 yards or something, and then got the starting role the next week after that, and then kind of like took off from there.
Yeah, there's no looking back after that. And the sign of a great player is, can they continue to be great against the toughest competition? And UMass was no one to shy away from any competition. Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Florida, and you balled in every single one of those games. Was it preparation going into those games? What made you shine the brightest in the biggest moments?
I think it was just like the frustration of not being picked up by those schools, and like my dream was always to play at like Ohio State or a big school like that, just from being in Ohio. I mean, that was the team I always grew up watching, was Ohio State. So just like wanting to be at that stage and knowing that I should be, or that I wanted to be at least, and getting to play against those teams, it was like, this is what I wanted to do. Like now I'm playing against them. This is my opportunity to show them that I should have been playing with these guys, or at a bigger school playing against these guys in a big game.
And now you're on the biggest stage, and they say the slate is wiped clean. Nobody cares what school you went to. We're all in the NFL now, but you still have that UMass shirt on you. I don't think you'll ever take that off. What's that chip on your shoulder going to be like, representing the smaller schools, showing, hey, we have the talent and I'm here for a reason?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I just represent everyone back at UMass and all those guys at UMass who maybe work as hard as me and want a shot at the NFL, and maybe if I play well, then those guys will get shots too. So, I mean, I think that's big, and it's something that I want to prove. I think a lot of people still think, oh, we came from UMass, so I think there's still a lot out to prove.
UMass academically speaks for itself. But how did you take what you learned in the classroom at such a prestigious level and put it on the football field?
It was tough doing both. I mean, I had zero free time. I started off as an engineering major, did that for 2.5 years, but wanted to finish in 3.5 years. They wouldn't let me finish engineering in 3.5 years. So I knew this was kind of like what I wanted to do, and that I would have an opportunity to do it. So I switched to applied math, which was actually harder than the engineering. So I kind of like messed myself up.
So you thought that you found a shortcut. You actually set yourself up.
Yeah, I thought I found a shortcut by doing the math, but it ended up being way harder. But luckily, was able to found a way to get the degree done in the 3.5 years, and graduated in the winter, and then had this whole spring just to do football and do what I love to do.
That's great. Now that adaptability, we'll say, you change your major midway through school, you change from running back to receiver. How does that apply to your game? Just whatever's thrown at me, I'm going to find a way to succeed.
I think that's exactly it. I mean, whatever happens, you just find a way. And like if something's not going the way you planned, you're going to find a different way to get it done. Like no matter what's happening, there's always a way to find a way to get whatever you want out of whatever situation you're in.
Favorite part of being a student athlete at UMass that wasn't football related?
They have the #1 dining hall, so never really had to make food. They always had some good food there. I like to eat, so I mean, they always had something. They had a whole sushi bar. We had a Shout out Joanne. She made us omelets every morning. so they had a great cooking staff for us and provided us some good food. So that was for me, that was the best part of UMass outside of football.
That's a good reason. If there was an Andy Isabella doubter out there, if for some reason someone is still doubting you out there, wondering what's it going to be like to play on a big stage, you performed your best on the big stages, those one or two games a year. What would you say to them?
I would just say I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming for whatever it is, and I'm still out to prove people wrong. I don't really care what they have to say. I'm gonna go out there and play hard every snap, and there's gonna be a lot of downs, but I'm gonna learn from them and get better each day.
A lot of guys going forward wear their high school on their sleeve. Maybe they came from a small town, maybe a state that gets overlooked in college recruiting. But for you, it's the next level. You get to wear UMass on your sleeve, maybe an underrepresented school who clearly is putting out talent, as the Arizona Cardinals now found out. How do you take that pride going forward, knowing you're representing much more than yourself?
I mean, I know a lot of guys still look up to me at UMass because that's all a lot of those guys' dreams. A lot of guys, all they talk about is NFL. But I try to tell them is you got to work for it. It's not going to just come easily. And a lot of those guys on the team, they still hit me up and ask what it's like, how to do it. And I'm like, well, I wasn't messing around when I was at UMass. I was taking care of my business. I wasn't out partying. Why didn't you see me out partying or nothing? Because I was working. So if they want, I told them if you want to do that, then you don't have to make a lot of sacrifices, personal sacrifices. You can't be messing around out there chasing women or doing everything y'all do it.
Yeah.
If you want to make it to the big stage.
Besides the food, because we know that's why it's good for me. Besides the food, what are you gonna miss most about UMass?
Just all my teammates, man. We had a good group of guys, and just being in that locker room was a fun atmosphere. Being in that locker room, I mean. It's not really about you don't get really cut in college, so it's more of a laid back. Everyone's saying what's up to you. Everyone's cool and friends. So definitely all my teammates back at UMass.
Where could we find you guys when practice was over?
You probably find me back in my room doing all the homework I had. But no, we would be at the facility all day. Just the guys that really wanted it, I would just be. If you ask anyone at UMass, you would be like, if you want to find Andy, you just go to the facility. I'll be chilling somewhere, and you'll find me somewhere in there.
Who is the next Andy Isabella? Who is being overlooked right now? Who, when the lights shine bright against whatever big name school you guys schedule, because we know you love them, which name is gonna jump out?
You gotta look out for Brennan Dingle. He's got a lot of talent, and he keeps working hard and he stays on the right path. He could be in this chair next.
And whether it's Brennan or anybody else from a small school, if you could sum up any advice to one sentence to get to where you are now, what would it be?
Just don't listen to what everyone has to say about you, and don't listen to all the hype that people talk about you, whether it's good or bad. Don't listen to that, and just keep working every day.
Biggest freak?
Biggest freak.
Biggest freak I ever had to play against in college is just probably
The guy I look at in the mirror when I brush my teeth.
Quinn Williams, for sure.
Biggest freak? Rashawn Gary. Dude is huge, and just to be able to, the things that he can do in the football field are scary. Josh Allen. He covers, he do everything out there on the defense.
I never played against him, but I played Jalen Smith.
Ooh, Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith from Notre Dame.
Jalen Smith. The dude looked like an alien. I've never seen anyone that big or fast in my life.
I mean, you could just put it in the tape, to be honest with you. I mean, he's just fast from sideline to sideline.
Was definitely the freakiest guy I've seen on the football field.
I mean, physical at the point of attack.
I'm glad I didn't line up against him.
probably Deron Payne, honestly. He played at Alabama, but practicing against him every single day, it was horrible. I mean, the guy was unbelievable.
Bradley Chubb, he's on our team.
Michael Jackson, because he's a big corner from Miami. I ain't never played against a corner that big, so.
Kid on my team, Brian Peavy, I don't know if he got any % body fat.
Dexter Lawrence, who's now a teammate of mine with the Giants, but you see a 6'5", 340-pound guy move like he does, as powerful as he is. I think that's super impressive. So I think he was that guy to me, and yeah, excited to be teammates with him now.
My freshman year playing against Alabama, Reuben Foster, I wasn't getting that many snaps, but when I got those snaps, I made sure I knew where he was on the field.